Okay, this video is being made on October 14th, 2014. I believe it's probably around 1:30 p.m. My watch stopped. This right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bags of clothes pertaining to clean laundry. I went and did my laundry yesterday, October 13th, 2014. I'm a target victim and activist concerned in the criminal expeditions of what is known as gang stalking. You can go to Google and type in gang stalking and how they create homelessness of targets. It's all over the internet. Once the homelessness is created, the gang stalking also continues. Okay? Their goal is to take away everything the target everything that the target has, that the target uses to sustain themselves. So what I do is I have, excuse me a second, is that I have literally created my own security parameters, okay, to hide the property completely out of sight. Now, I know this probably seems crazy and peculiar if you're not familiar with the fact that gang stalking even exists. And if you don't know if gang stalking exists, I'm sure you would not be aware of the techniques, methods, and tactics that they use against the target. So that's why I describe as many supporting descriptions in the video that is related to the subject matter of gang stalking and the specific techniques that I might be talking about in each particular video, in each specific video. This video, I'm specifically talking about the threats of that a target endures concerning their property being stolen by using individuals that are either syndicated members or are community members who are duped to do things towards a target as a result of them being lied to about a target. Okay, you can go to YouTube and type in "Listen to a Stranger," which is a YouTube video, okay, that you can use as a preliminary introduction. Okay, hold on a second. The YouTube video "Listen to a Stranger" is a video that shows some of the techniques of gang stalking. The reason why I'm pointing it out in this video, hang on, is because that way you can go and watch it so you can see how easy it is to dupe anybody to do anything towards a complete stranger, okay, as a result of them listening to a stranger who has a appearing position of authority, a police officer. Now in that video it literally shows an individual impersonating a bounty hunter, which is also a law enforcement. But understand this, you can go to Google and type in police officers and gang stalking, and then you can go to Google and type in police people who I don't know how to exactly right now to term it, but individuals who will impersonate a police officer and gang stalking. The point being is this: after they create the homelessness, the target has already been gang stalked because the homelessness was created by them. Getting landlords and property owners on board in the gang stalking expedition. And I've already made a lot of videos about that. Hang on a second. Now the point being, you can go to YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Criminal Motivations of Gang Stalking." Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Methods of Gang Stalking, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the point being is this: when you're camping, which is what I had to do as a result of being gang stalked at least to the last 4 to 5 apartments, and you can go to Google and type in how targets of gang stalking are stalked to multiple apartments, so you can see I'm telling you the truth. They will also use, and they can also use mail theft and mail delayment postal workers in order to steal the target's rent, even rent that's mailed certified mail return receipt, in which is what they did to me. Now, so as a result of me having to camp out, because I got tired of renting motel rooms and going through my money and then just being subject to motel room break-ins, staged events at the literal motel locations. You can also go to Google and type in motel managers and gang stalking, motel housekeepers and gang stalking, okay, and you will see that even motel managers can be brought on board, or motel employees can be brought on board in whatever they want to bring about against the gang stalking target who might be staying at the motel, which is usually eviction from the motel, because their whole goal is to put the target out on the street. So what I did was I created my own security parameters, and that means security parameter means an actual type of place that I created to hide the property completely out of sight. Now I already know that these filthy whore sewer rat asses know what type of security provisions I use to hide my property, because, like, do you see these two big bags right here? This bag right here has got 4 sleeping bags in it, and this right here has got pajamas, another additional 2 small blankets, and some camping flashlights and other support material like band-aids and stuff like that, and a hat, and just basically stuff that I need in order to be able to sleep inside my tent in a somewhat comfortable way. Now, I hide these 2 things every morning. When I have come home and have then retrieved them from the spot where they're hid at, I have then I'd go to, obviously, untie the bags, and they would be tied in ways that I would never even dream to tie them up. I would also, and then once the bags were gotten into by me, I would see that the clothes and the sleeping bags and even the bag that holds all the flashlights have had things rearranged in them intentionally by them. Okay, so I would notice that they were rearranged intentionally. Now you can go to Google and type in organized stalking or gang stalking, and how they will enter in a target's apartment and refold clothes, rearrange a target's furniture, steal things, and then replace them later at a later date. And you will see that that's all over the internet. They did that in order to leave a mental calling card, i.e., I noticed that things have been intentionally rearranged, sleeping bags and my pajamas folded in ways that I would never dream of folding them, because they wanted me to notice it, which is their way to send an implied message that they know where the property's hidden. Then they would reinforce, because that would produce fear. They know where the property's hidden. Is it going to be stolen? Once they did that, they then started placing people up on the sidewalk to ride their bikes by and say, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal our stuff? That's done to reinforce the fear. Okay, basically what they do is they go into the area where the property's at and refold the property that's in it in ways that I would never dream of doing it. That's done by them intentionally in order so that I notice it. That in turn brings about psychological fear. They know where the property's hidden at in order for them to be able to do it. Okay? That's why they did it, because they wanted me to know that they know where it's being hidden at. They then reinforced, which brings about fear, when will it be stolen? They then reinforce the fear by using either and or syndicated members to get up on the sidewalk and drive their bike by and say, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal their stuff? Or Duke community members to say the same thing. This is done to reinforce the fear, because they know now that the mental association has been formed that they know where the property is at as a result of what they intentionally did. And these are the psychological operations of gang stalking, because the whole goal for them is to steer your thinking about what might happen as a result of them intentionally letting you know that they know where the property's hidden at. It's mind games. It's gaslighting. Okay, all these things can be Googled. So when I get outside of this tent right now, I'm gonna be here at least for the next 40 minutes, because I gotta hide these in a separate spot. Then I gotta hide these in a separate spot. I gotta get out my duffel bag that I usually carry my everyday items in that I carry with me, and hide this one, the black one you see over there, that was used to take the laundry to the laundromat yesterday. Now this is literally how I have to live on a daily basis as a result of being a gang stalking victim. You just would not believe the crimes that happen to me on a daily basis. And let me tell you another thing that they will do in order to create fear in a target, because what you got to understand here is fear is responsible for a bunch of different types of when fear is anchored about anything, it steers the target's thinking based on the theme of the fear. Like, they'll get along my path and say, gang of stalking, I'm gonna fuck you up. That is a threat. That threat produces fear, and that fear becomes automatically mentally associated to gang stalking, because they're literally saying gang stalking as they're saying the threat. Okay? So the point being is that what they will also do is place people up on the sidewalk to ride their bikes by, jog by, or walk by, and they'll say, gang stalk, why don't you come and steal their stuff? And then on separate occasions they have said, gang stalk, why don't you call the cops on her? They'll literally put people up on the sidewalk to walk by and say, who's that? Why don't you get her out of here? Well, how did they know I'm a her? Now this technique is called DNLP. You can YouTube it and Google it. Because basically what they do is create the homelessness, and then through these types of statements and threats, what they're doing is driving the target's thinking as a result of what the target hears them say. Think about it. They put people up on the sidewalk to say, who is that? Why don't you get her out of here? Who is that? Why don't you call the cops on her? That's done to make me believe that somebody has noticed me and that the cops are going to be called as a result. Now, this technique you can Google. It's literally a combination of two techniques. It's the dark neurolinguistic programming technique, which means dark meaning that what they're doing is saying something that's dark in nature, negative in nature, like, who is she? Why don't you call the cops on her? Okay, that's a dark because it's a threat. The neurolinguistic programming of dark neurolinguistic programming is how, as a result of me hearing what they're saying through language, they're programming my response because of the theme of the threat. So basically what they're doing is you know how, like, if somebody walked up to you and says, I'm gonna kick your ass, you're gonna have a thought response about that. Okay, so you're having a programmed response as a result of language being used to state the threat. And the threat is dark in nature, dark neurolinguistic programs. So basically what they're doing is steering your thinking based on what you hear them say through language, and what they say through the language is dark in nature. Okay, and this is done to interfere in my mind that the cops will be called and they'll come down here and evict me. Okay, and they also believe that I have fear about police coming to my hiking areas because they know that I know that the police are involved in gang stalking. And they know that I know that racketeering is connected to these crimes pertaining to illegal syndicated probate control, which is why they create the homelessness. Now, I've already made a lot of videos concerning this, so just go to YouTube. Trust me on this. Just go to Google and YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Criminal Motivations of Gang Stalking." And you'll hear me talking about how the homelessness being created is actually being done for syndicated probate control. So just do it. You can also go to YouTube and Google and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Gang Stalking Harassment in Hiking Areas." Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Criminal Motivations of Gang Stalking. Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Methods of Gang Stalking. And you'll literally be able to witness me give extremely detailed statements pertaining to why the homelessness is created, why staged events are being used against any target, including me, so that the police can be called. You'll even hear me talk about how and why they're staging assaults down towards me, down in here and even across the street from here. Okay, because in order for the syndicate to take illegal syndicated probate control of the target, because this is organized crime in the system, they got to have paperwork to present to the court, to petition the court to take the syndicated probate control. Police reports, doctor reports, social services reports, and a combination of all three. That's right. That's why they create the homelessness. So just go to Google and YouTube and type in what I've stated, so I don't have to go back and so I don't have to constantly be repeating in all my videos why the homelessness is created and why they do these things. They'll even take my statements in this video and say, "Do you see how paranoid Miss Williams is? Do you see how delusional she is? She thinks that we're placing people up on the sidewalk to say gang stalk. Why don't you come and steal her stuff? Gang stalk. Why don't you call the cops on her?" I've already proven that they've done it online. So you can go to YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Evidence of Being Gang Stalked," "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Gang Stalking in Hiking Areas," "Learning Disabled Woman Catches Gang Stalking," "Learning Disabled Woman Exposes Flat Out Evidence of Gang Stalking," and you'll see I'm telling you the truth. Literally. Okay, I gotta today's date is October 14th, 2014. As soon as I get done making this video, which I will be doing in the next few seconds here, I'm going to be getting outside of this tent to hide this property in one spot, this property in another spot, and a couple other things, and then I'll be leaving. If anything happens concerning me, about me, around me, towards me, against me, I don't give a shit how it comes about or who plays a role in it. And if I come home today or any other day and any of my property is missing, damaged, or stolen, and or a trespass notice put at this area, which I am preparing to move from, it'll be gang stalking related. Thank you for listening, and please research my statements that I've made in this video. I live in La Jolla, California. I am a gang stalking victim, and I expose these factual realities so people can understand what's happening to me, and so they can research these criminalities online. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.